This is also a quadratic equation. Exponent of 2 on the variable. That's my signal, that's my clue that it's a quadratic equation. This equation I solve by factoring, but I can't factor until I have the equation in standard form. And to be in standard form, we need to have 0 on one side of the equation. Well, that would be relatively easy to produce if I were to simply add 8 to both sides here. Now I have my equation in standard form, squared term first, first power term second, constant third equals 0. Now we want to factor that trinomial. 35x squared, 38x, and 8 do not share any common factors. So there's no common factor I could divide out. This trinomial simply needs to be factored into two binomials. Bring down the first sign, put it into the first binomial, a minus. Now, minus times what makes a plus? Well, that'd be a minus times a minus, wouldn't it? Minus times a minus makes plus. I now have my signs in the binomials. Now, let's look at the first term, 35x squared. What can we multiply together to make 35x squared? Well, 1x times 35x, or 5x times 7x. Right? Let's try the 5x and the 7x. I generally try terms that are closer together like that before I would try the 1x and the 35x. Now, how can we make an 8? That's 1 times 8 or 2 times 4, right? Let's try the 2 and the 4. So let's put a 2 there, let's put a 4 there, and we'll see what happens. It has to work under the O and the I of FOIL. So the O of FOIL is going to give me minus 4 times 5x. That's going to be minus 20x. The I of FOIL gives me minus 2 times 7x, which is minus 14x. This doesn't quite come to minus 38. You owe 20, you owe 14 more. That's owing 34. We've got minus 38. So that arrangement didn't work. So let's try reversing the 2 and the 4 and see what happens. Now look at the O and the I of FOIL. 5x times minus 2 is minus 10x. Minus 4 times 7x is minus 28x. That looks better. You owe $10, you owe $28, that's owing 38. We've got our factorization. Now we need to find the x values that will make one of these factors become 0. And remember the pattern that we found? The pattern that we found, if this is subtraction, then the answer has to be positive, and the answer can be found by taking this number, putting it in the numerator of a fraction, taking the coefficient, putting it in the denominator of a fraction. So from this factor, the solution is x would be 4/5. And using something similar here, using similar thinking, then the solution here would be 2/7. And it's very easy to see that those would work. If we put 4/5 in place of x here, we can see that that's going to make this quantity become 0, because the 5's cancel and 4 minus 4 equals 0. And 0 times anything would give us the 0 that we need. And the same thing would work here if we put 2/7 in for x there. So if you remember that little pattern, it's pretty easy to find solutions once you get to the factorization.